From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Good evening and welcome to the special edition of Cronkite News. I'm Gilbert Cordova. Thanks for joining us. Cronkite News is dedicated to covering important issues in the Native American community here in Arizona, from land conservation to tribal rights to young Native American entrepreneurs. Tonight, we take a look at some of our top stories from the past year.
The number of minority-owned businesses is growing and even outpacing those not owned by minorities. That's according to the U.S. Census Bureau's most recent survey of business owners. The Native American population still lags, but a new program is helping to get entrepreneurs spinning in the right direction. Gregory and Jonah Hill are twins, entrepreneurs, and on a mission.
I want to be a hermit and just stay in a little room and just fill it with tops.
Do shows outside of Arizona is one big step.
The Flagstaff-based top maker and silversmith are Hopi Quatron.
From the village of Kikutsmovie, Pipbungwa, Tapbungwa, which is tobacco and rabbit clan.
They grew up on the reservation and, like other natives, are using their traditions to make a living. But it hasn't come easy. Native American-owned businesses make up only 3% of all minority-owned firms in the U.S.
What the challenge is adapting those ways to fit with modern society and modern ways of doing business in America.
A struggle for most.
A lot of people who are small business people that I know who are Native have a pretty hard time because they're not really used to interacting with a larger audience.
Adrian with the Native American Business Incubator Network is working to grow the community of Native business owners.
We saw a need and we decided, hey, we're going to address it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to find a solution.
They're connecting Native entrepreneurs, a critical tool for the emerging businesses.
It would be nice if I had a lot of different connections, someone to kind of point me in the direction that I would like to go.
That direction may be as clear as the direction these tops spin.
I think my twin brother is my biggest mentor.
The Native American Business Incubator also helps natives whose businesses are based on the reservation. The struggle there is a completely different one because of the bureaucratic process and the difficulty securing loans and capital.
It's a place built to serve the visitors of one of the great wonders of the world. But those near the Grand Canyon are in a battle over building. Over the weekend, the Forest Service began to pave the way for more than 2,000 employee housing units. I traveled to the town of Tusayan, where there's growing concern over the new plans near the canyon's edge.
It's a tiny town.
I love it. I love living here. I love this area.
A town that calls itself the entrance to the Grand Canyon.
We're here as a business community to serve that national park and serve the visitors who come.
But it's the town's small size that's making its latest project a large-scale concern.
I can sum up why we're here and what the whole development is about is two words: affordable housing.
The town of less than 500 people is mostly employed by the Halverson Company, which provides housing to their workers. But now the mayor and those on the town council want to use 40 acres to create a new development of homes for those employees, homes they could personally own.
Now we have the opportunity to grow a town and to grow leadership because they will have roots, they will have skin in the game, they'll have a desire to build something for them and their family and their children.
Right now, if an employee with Halverson were to lose their job, they would also lose their house.
I've been here 17 years, and if I would retire next week, I have to leave. I have to leave. I can't retire here.
But for hotel owner Clarinda Vale, she sees this as a conflict of interest. She says all but one person on the town council works for Halverson, saying this is all for their own monetary gain.
In my opinion, this is an area just to line their pocketbooks, and they don't have their heart here, the way that my family has had their hearts here for years.
But it's not just about the money either. Superintendent of the Grand Canyon National Park, Dave Ubaragua, says that the lack of water is why he's not supporting the plan to develop.
They want to actually, in this case, go from a residential community of less than 500 to one of 5,000 to 6,000 people. They want to go from a consumption of water that's 4 times or 400% more water consumption. And they haven't declared where they're going to get their water.
And while the mayor acknowledges water is a major concern, he says that's up to the developer Stilo to figure out.
We know that they have to answer the water question and solution. We have no intent just to say go do it. They're going to have to prove where their water's coming from and make it an acceptable source.
But when Cronkite News talked to Stilo, they couldn't give us their exact water plan either.
We'll announce it, believe me. We will take full-page ads when we're there, but we're not there yet.
Tom DiPaolo represents the Stilo Group and says it's important to take the time to develop the right plan to come up with the best solution.
If you take a place as special as the Grand Canyon and you do it thoughtfully, it's forever.
And for the mayor, the park, and the town, they all just want a solution.
Because to me, that's the most concerning. You know, the way that people live today, not what they're going to have in 5 years, not what they're going to have, whatever. How are you treating your staff today?
And each player in the game says they'll fight for what they think is best for the community.
We're willing to work with anybody and everybody to make this a success and be responsible in the process.
The Forest Service is taking public comment on the proposal through June 2nd, and we'll be holding informational meetings on the proposal in Tusayan, Williams, and Flagstaff.
Tribal leaders from the Four Corner states gathered in the nation's capital today for a historic first in an effort to save a site that is millennia old. Cronkite News reporter Adriana Barajas has the story from our Washington bureau.
You can't talk about who we are as people without talking about the land.
It was the land that brought tribal leaders to Washington today to urge President Barack Obama to protect 1.9 million acres of southeastern Utah as the Bears Ears National Monument.
Bears Ears offers something unique that we can't find anywhere else in the world, and so therefore it's special. It provides and facilitates, it negotiates with us the ability to heal through traditional ceremonies.
The effort is important for another reason. Alfred Lomakwahu said it's the first time tribes have gotten together to press an issue directly to the president.
This is very, very important. It's a big breakthrough for Native Americans.
The tribes claim the Bears Ears contain thousands of culturally and spiritual significant sites, the same claim that has been made by San Carlos Apache Fighting, a proposed mine at Oak Flat in southern Arizona.
It's very similar in the sense that, the San Carlos Apache people, our brothers and sisters to the south, they relate to Oak Flats in a very serious way, in a very familial way from a sacred site standpoint.
Lomakwahu agreed, saying the tribes are charting a new path, and he hopes that the tribe's effort on Bears Ears can prevent another Oak Flat.
If it passes and with the co-management of Native tribes, things like Oak Flats wouldn't have happened with the land exchange.
In Washington, Adriana Barajas, Cronkite News.
Now the tribes are urging Obama to use his authority under the Antiquities Act, which allows the president to create national monuments to preserve sites with natural or cultural importance.
Plans for the future South Mountain Freeway have it bordering the Gila River Indian community and cutting through a small part of South Mountain Park. But the community says that mountain is sacred, and any damage to the park is more than just a physical intrusion. Right now, the road ends at South Mountain, and the Akhmir Odom Indian tribe wants to keep it that way.
Our spiritual guide, Suhu, has a home up there.
But in 2016, the state plans to build an extension of the Loop 202 freeway through part of South Mountain Park. ADOT says this is the best alternative without going through the Indian community and only minimally cutting through the park.
We are having to cut through approximately 31 acres of the South Mountain Park, but this is less than 0.2% of the whole park area. So it's a very, very small section of the park that will be affected by this highway.
But even the slightest disruption of the land here is an intrusion to those who consider the mountain sacred.
On this mountain, we believe is one of the homes of our deities. This freeway will be an obstacle for our people. Not only a physical obstacle, but a spiritual obstacle.
For American Indians who cherish Mother Earth and pray to mountain homes of their deities, the land debate is nothing new.
Indian peoples have seen their lands sacrificed for the national good, and the courts have generally refused to support American Indian religious freedom.
As the freeway project moves forward, the Gila River Indian community is not backing down.
Governor Stephen Lewis and the tribe put aside and said, we are going to some monies to fight this freeway. And they created a lawsuit In this land, you do have a choice, and you have the choice to stand up and fight for what is right. And we haven't done that enough.
The Gila River lawsuit is scheduled to be completed by March 2016, so construction can get underway.
Hearings began in Washington today on the Gold King mine accident, which spilled millions of gallons of contaminated water into the Animas River last month. The tainted water carried lead, iron, zinc, and arsenic. That led to a state of emergency in the Navajo Nation downstream. Today, Navajo President Russell Begay told a Senate committee that he has not been satisfied with the Environmental Protection Agency's cleanup efforts.
Nothing is coming forth from them, so they have to really repair that relationship. They need to bring the water back, they need to bring the hay back, the feed. All of that is gone because of what happened, because of their negligence, not taking care of the mines up there.
EPA officials will be back for more questioning into the spill tomorrow, when House committees are scheduled to take up the issue.
A protest is taking place at Senator McCain's office today by Tona Tierra, an organization showing solidarity with Apache Nation and other environmentalists after a land swap with Resolution Copper at Oak Flat passed. The land is sacred to the Apache people. Resolution Copper Mining is set to acquire the 2,400-acre area. The controversial land swap package passed as part of the Defense Authorization Bill. It was authorized by Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake in the hopes to create jobs and generate revenue. But Apache leaders say they are outraged.
There was not prior consultation, there was not prior information being shared. It was put into that package without our consent and without our knowledge. We denounce and deny and do not consent to that.
Another protest will take place tomorrow morning at 9 at the Oak Flat campground.
And that campground is where an indigenous tribe in southern Arizona started a 2-day-long march yesterday.
More than 50 people gathered outside of the San Carlos Apache Tribe's office, singing, dancing, and praying, trying to protect the land that has been sacred to their tribe for generations.
Our connection to the land makes us, it's part of something that greatly makes us who we are.
Apache people of all ages began making the journey to the Oak Flat campground, a site where they utilize the earth, pray, and perform holy rituals.
And it's sacred to me and my family and everyone here because our ancestors are from there.
But it's also the site where Copper Resolution Mining will break ground on a $61.4 billion deal by 2020.
It's a peaceful gesture from our group to show that this place matters.
The Apache people plan to stay on the campground after the protest is over, living off the land and sharing their message.
We're here, we've been here, we'll continue to be here.
Although the land that is under contract is not a part of the tribe's reservation, they hope that their persistence will show the dedication they have for the land that they love. In Phoenix, Lauren Klenda, Cronkite News.
The reopening of a uranium mine near the Grand Canyon has caused quite the stir in the community. But to understand the battle, you have to go nearly back 30 years. The Canyon uranium mine originally opened in 1986. It faced its first lawsuit that year as well. It was initiated there by the Havasupai tribe. After going all the way to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, it was fully permitted. However, uranium prices began to drop in 1992 and the mine was put on standby. But the Canyon mine reopened in 2013 and the permit was granted based on the original environmental impact statements from the 1980s. And another lawsuit was filed by the Havasupai tribe and environmentalist groups. Cronkite News reporter Taya Vitek traveled to the Canyon mine just south of Tucson as a part of our Access Across Arizona project.
With the hope of breaking the stigma of mining, the COO of Energy Fuels Resources, Harold Roberts, flew out of their Colorado-based business and quite literally opened the gates of their operation to Cronkite News just 6 miles south of this world wonder.
Coconino County and northern Arizona draw in thousands of tourists each year to see the picturesque landscapes of the Red Rocks and the Grand Canyon. But another little-known landmark just 6 miles away is getting attention of another kind. Many are concerned that the reopening of this uranium mine could have a negative impact on the environment.
And, there's places where uranium mining probably can be done appropriately and without any severe risk to public interest, but Grand Canyon's not one of those places.
Energy Fuels Resources has 2 developed uranium mines in northern Arizona. The company invited Cronkite News inside one of the controversial mines for an exclusive look and chance to talk with Chief Operating Officer Harold Roberts.
We want to be good stewards of the land. We want to do things obviously within compliance with all the permits.
A court ruling has cleared the way for mining to begin again for the first time in years, but opponents aren't giving up on efforts to protect the land.
The plan is for the conservation groups to also file a notice of appeal.
But Energy Fuels Resources still plans to be fully up and functioning by June of this year.
We will have a presence here on the site and people and getting ready to mobilize from now on continuously until we start shaft sinking.
But once the shaft sinking begins, the plaintiffs are concerned about the contamination of the groundwater that feeds into the Grand Canyon.
5 federal agencies came up with more than 20 pages of best management practices that they all agreed should be applied to new mines going forward. Guess what they included? Groundwater monitoring.
The history of uranium mining in the area is that it contaminates the water.
Any water that we do have here goes into the line containment pond, so it does not have a chance to get into the groundwater. The chances of us contaminating groundwater from our activities here in the site are extremely, extremely small.
The plaintiffs believe the contaminated water in the evaporation pond could also negatively affect the wildlife in the area.
We're highly regulated by the Forest Service and by the state of Arizona, so we're fully in compliance with that. So we don't feel that there's any endangerment to native species in this site.
Another issue the plaintiffs want the mine to address is the spread of radiation.
It'll be processed in Utah, and in the past what they've seen is along the haul routes increased radiation levels.
We transport the ore under DOT regulations. There's requirements for that. All the trucks are fully tarped. The tailgates on the trucks are sealed.
Though they agree that the impacts of the mine could be permanent, the plaintiffs have varying opinions on what should come next.
Our view is that this mine shouldn't go forward. It's in a place that it has potential to do harm.
We're not trying to stop the mine whatsoever. We're simply trying to bring it up to the 21st century.
But Energy Fuels Resources believes that they're misinformed about today's mining practices.
When people are talking about a lot of legacy mining issues before all the environmental concerns and all the dangers were fully understood, that's not the way we operate today.
Energy Fuels Resources plans to dig another 1,400 feet to mine the ore and hopes to be done within the next 5 to 7 years. But Grand Canyon Trust says they plan to file an injunction to stop mine production until the appeals process has fully played out. Taya Vitek, Cronkite News.
The Navajo Nation was selected by the USDA for a $2.4 million pilot project. Cronkite News reporter Sarah Oshrin has a story from the Capitol.
In the United States, no one should be going hungry.
But for many rural and tribal communities, that's the case. Without running water or electricity,
you have to buy food, shelf food, that will last a few days. And if you don't have a refrigerator, you can have fruits, you can have vegetables.
Which is a reason why the Department of Agriculture awarded the Navajo Nation for a $2.4 million grant this month.
And we are grateful for that.
The award will fund a pilot project that promotes access to anti-hunger and healthy food programs. 19 food access navigators will be hired to go into the communities and train the residents.
We just want these food navigators to connect the people with these different services out there.
Services like food stamps and the Women, Infants, and Children program, which help, but still don't solve the real problem.
I have people who actually buy mostly junk food with that. We want these food navigators to say, look, to be healthy, you need access to quality food.
This pilot project will last 2 years.
And if it works, we're hoping to work with USDA and other programs to fund more of it and to also expand into Arizona and Utah.
In Washington, D.C., Sierra Oshrin, Cronkite News.
There is a huge push to keep the traditional language alive in the Navajo Nation, particularly after a presidential candidate was kicked off the ballot because he was deemed not fluent in Navajo. Now, across the country, there are 566 federally recognized tribes, and the United Nations reports there are 174 separate languages in existence. But experts predict that by the year 2050, only 20 of those languages will still be spoken. The Navajo tribe wants to ensure their language is one of the 20 that survives. Representatives from the National Indian Education Association say culture and language go hand in hand.
It's how we did our ceremonies. It's how we pray. It's how we think of and know ourselves. It's how we relate to our land. It's how we relate to our children. All of those pieces are lost when we lose our language.
And of course, in order to keep the Navajo language alive, it needs to be passed on to the next generation. Cronkite News reporter Samantha Davis visited an immersive language program teaching Navajo to elementary school children.
In this class, you won't hear a lot of English. What does that mean?
Hello.
That's because at this magnet school in Flagstaff, Native American students are immersed in Navajo starting in kindergarten, in an effort to help revitalize a language that has a rapidly declining number of speakers.
Puente de Hosho is we're a trilingual school where students at the end of their time with us, the outcome that we hope for is that they are biliterate.
Instructors like Pamela White Hansen teach language arts, math, science, and social studies all in Navajo. The students spend part of the day in her class and part in an all-English class.
I was hired on as an English second grade teacher, but then they heard I was a fluent speaker. So when they asked me to teach Navajo, I couldn't read or write it. So I had to learn with the kids.
She teaches me lots and lots of Navajo, and she helps me get past stuff.
Delani.
Tapaha Nishne.
Delani is not just Miss Hansen's student, but also her son. He is one of the lucky students who have a fluent, biliterate parent to help reinforce the language at home.
My sister and all my family help me understand the language.
The Navajo people have the most speakers out of Native American tribes in the U.S., but Dr. John Rayner, a professor at Northern Arizona University, says that Navajo as a language is still declining.
And what's really unfortunate is when you find the grandkids speak only English and the grandparents speak only Navajo, so you don't get, they can't communicate.
That makes the work at immersive revitalization programs like this one all the more important.
They also have an understanding that it's extremely important so that the language and the culture doesn't go away forever.
As part of their language classes, they're also learning about the history of the Navajo, so the traditions are kept alive as well. In Flagstaff, Samantha Davis, Cronkite News.
Natural resources on the Navajo Nation. That's the subject of an Arizona student's film, which earned him a trip to Washington and a meeting with President Barack Obama. Tara Terragina reports from the White House.
Arizona resident Keanu Jones just wanted to tell stories of his Navajo people when he picked up a camera, but little did he know those stories would lead him all the way to the White House.
Let's give it up to our outstanding young filmmakers.
It's incredible, I would say, in one word.
Jones was one of 15 young filmmakers honored by the White House for their films on the theme of giving back.
These aren't just great films, but they're great examples of how young people are making a difference all over the country.
I spend my school breaks taking care of her. I build her fires to keep her warm during the winter time.
Jones spoke from the heart and shared his family's struggle for basic life-sustaining needs.
Simple necessities Americans enjoy, like electricity, automatic heaters, and running water. These are not provided in the rural areas where I'm from.
He hoped to raise awareness over the fight for water and the natural resources taken from the reservations.
It's kind of like an honor type of, because I'm kind of representing not just like myself, like my family and being Native American.
He says using film let him capture his people's culture and life, and he hopes it will educate the people who watch.
The younger generations need to understand the value of water, especially with different climate changes and things like that we would be facing in the future.
It's the only zoo of its kind, running a program that is crucial to the Navajo Nation and its culture. In tonight's Across Arizona report, Cronkite News reporter Gabe Cordoba takes us to Apache County and the town of Window Rock to see what makes this zoo a treasure trove of tradition.
You won't find giraffes and elephants and things here, but you will find black bears and mountain lions and bobcats.
Home to more than 50 species and 100 total animals, the Navajo Nation Zoological and Botanical Park is the only Native American-run zoo in the country. Each animal in the zoo is important to the Navajo people.
And the nice thing about the Navajo Zoo is that it's unique in that we are probably one of the few, if only, zoos in the country that can really speak about the traditions and the importance of these animals to the native people here.
Each animal's enclosure contains a sign with the Navajo name and a story about the animal. While the animals help connect the Navajo people to their heritage, McKissick says the zoo is necessary for the animals as well.
We are a sanctuary for nature and the spirit in that way. All of our animals could not be released to the wild because they were either injured to the point where they could not feed themselves or they were orphaned as young. Every animal, every species, to some degree, shows up in their emergence stories or in their wintertime stories, or parts of them are used in ceremonies, and in particular, golden eagle feathers.
The Navajo Zoo received a federal permit as a part of the pilot program in 2012 to be able to legally distribute golden eagle feathers that are naturally molted from the eagles in the zoo. The legal distribution is key. Illegal selling, trading, or bartering of golden eagle feathers carries big consequences.
And there are serious repercussions for people caught buying, selling, trading eagle feathers. There is jail time, there is heavy fines.
Regulations for golden eagle feathers allow Navajo people to obtain feathers simply by filling out the proper forms and providing proof of identity.
Medicine men here with the Navajo Nation, they will use the feathers in ceremonies. And those feathers then become a vital part of that ceremony.
Just as golden eagle feathers are a vital part of the Navajo culture.
That's it for this edition of Cronkite News. We are proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. For more Arizona top stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.